Sup, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing we're going to talk about today, one of the most requested stories today, is this horrible story coming out of the Ohio State Fair. Last night, there was a ride malfunction that resulted in one person dying and 7 being injured. The ride we're talking about today is called the Fireball. It's a ride that swings riders 40 feet into the air and spins 13 times per minute. And last night, the ride malfunctioned in a way that caused one of the rows of seats to separate and caused other riders to fly through the air. There's also video of this accident happening. Obviously, what you're going to see is disturbing, and we are going to censor it. And the moment we just had to censor out was where Columbus Fire Department Battalion Chief Steve Martin said one of the rows of seats of the Fireball ride snapped off, adding that the man who died, who has now been identified as Tyler Jarrell, was found 50 feet from the ride. And adding to the heartbreak of this story is that Tyler was just 18 years old. 18, just graduated from high school. 5 days previous to this, he enlisted into the Marines, and then this happened. And as of recording this video, the 7 who were injured, we have 4 that are hospitalized, 3 still in critical condition. Now, in response to all of this, Ohio Governor John Kasich said, "I'm terribly saddened by this accident, by the loss of life, and that people were injured enjoying Ohio's fair. Our thoughts and prayers go out to those grieving and injured. I have ordered a full investigation into this incident and have ordered that all fair rides be shut down until additional safety inspections can be completed." And as far as inspections on the rides, it looks like the Fireball had been cleared. David Daniels, the Director of Agriculture, which is the department that actually deals with these inspections, said, "We started out today with 11 rides that did not open because the inspection was not done on them." Adding, ride inspectors did not notice anything out of the ordinary when they conducted their inspections and cleared the Fireball for passengers. And Chief Inspector Michael Vardarello said this ride was inspected at a couple of different stages and it was signed off today. Adding, "We take this job very serious, and when we have a tragedy like this, it hits everybody. It hits us really hard. My children, my grandchildren ride this equipment. Our guys do not rush through this stuff." And so right now there is an investigation. They're trying to do an autopsy of the Fireball to see what went wrong. But it does appear officials are just open to this being an accident. Governor Kasich saying, "You can inspect and you can re-inspect, and you can in this case have a third party inspect, but if you're looking for guarantees in life, they do not exist. You just make sure that the risk you take on is something that you balance against the activity you want to engage in." And I understand where the governor is coming from. From this, we may not get answers, that this might have just been unforeseen circumstances, natural wear and tear that led to a disaster. But on the note of needing to understand the risk that you're taking on based on the activity, I feel like that's a bit off. I think most people look at a ride like this and they go, okay, this is a controlled, safe experience. I mean, it's more dangerous to get into your car every day. It feels like the governor's words here border on victim blaming, which I hope is not the intent here. But a question I want to pass off to you is, does this happening scare you away from going on rides like this? Yes or no? If you go on rides like this, do you perceive it as there being a risk? Yes, no? I'd love to know your thoughts on this. But from that, I want to share some stuff I love today, and today in awesome. And the first bit of awesome is we got a brand new trailer for it, and it looks damn amazing. As skeptical as I was when they released the first images, this is, the hype is real, and hopefully the disappointment is not. Then we got a trailer for a movie called The Vault with James Franco, and it has, I don't want to ruin it, but it has a From Dusk Till Dawn vibe, and that you think you're going one place and you're probably gonna end up in a different movie. Then we had Adam Ruins Everything on why hospitals are so damn expensive, with people losing their damn mind over Conor McGregor out in public, except it wasn't actually Conor McGregor and it was just a very well executed prank. And then I just have to share this trippy video of this octopus from the dodo. And I was amazed by this video because you have this huge octopus. I didn't realize they could fit into such small places. That giant thing was able to squeeze in something the size of a soda can. And if you want to see the full versions of everything I just shared, the secret link of the day, anything at all, links as always are in the description down below. And then we got the news today that there is now a new richest person in the world, and that is Jeff Bezos. It's being reported that thanks to a rise in Amazon stock prices, Jeff Bezos passed Bill Gates as the richest man in the world. And while this is a sign of the times, a showcase of the power of Amazon, it is also a little bit meaningless. What I mean by that is you have Jeff at the top, then Bill Gates, then Warren Buffett. I mean, one, it's kind of a meaningless title after a certain number of billions. It's just extra. And two, it really depends on what you think of as the worth of money. Obviously, we're talking about net worth here for an individual, but this really doesn't take into account that Bill Gates and Warren Buffett are part of the Giving Pledge. That, if you don't know, is the pact between 16 billionaires where they say they're going to give away half of their net worth before they die. There are reports saying Warren Buffett over the past 10 years has donated 27 billion away. Bill Gates has donated even more than that, and I don't say this as a way to try and take away from Jeff Bezos, but I mention this because it's a little more complicated, and what you do with your money should hopefully be more important than how much you have. And then we had Justin Bieber in the news because he hit a paparazzo with his truck. He was pulling out of a driveway following a church event, and well, just watch.
Hey, you good, pal? What's up with you, B? How you been, my man? Justin Bieber, looking good, bro.
So obviously you watch that video, you go, okay, Justin Bieber wasn't trying to kill someone with his vehicle, he had an accident. And what's kind of crazy is with a story that starts with Justin Bieber hitting someone with his car, ultimately I end up leaving the situation with more respect for Justin Bieber. And it's because of how he handled the situation after. Gets out of the car, sees if he can try to help the victim, tries to get people from crowding the victim.
Is there anything we can do to help?
I'm blessing in the name of Jesus.
If you could just give us a little space, okay?
All right, we need some room, you guys. Okay.
It's okay.
Now it was like, this guy. Appreciate that. This bad time.
Yeah. And then there's a moment later in the video where I feel like we get just this small, tiny taste of what Justin Bieber has to deal with 24/7.
You guys get enough footage of this? No. Can you pose a little more? That's great.
You can tell that Bieber's like, a human being is hurt here and all you care about is just exploiting the situation for money. And the fact that the paparazzi would respond like that, you realize he is surrounded and tracked by people 24/7 that most likely do not view him or anyone else in the world as people. They're just subjects being shot. I just really hope the next update isn't insert paparazzo name is suing Justin Bieber for an insane amount of money. Paparazzi surrounded him, blinded him with flash. It didn't even look like the guy was in front of the vehicle, but somehow got hit by the vehicle based off of standing in the middle of the road. It's just a ridiculous situation. And then let's talk about the leaks coming out of the White House, or I guess the not leaks, but are leaks, but we're looking for the leaks, even though we might be the leaks. Okay, what the fuck is going on? So this story revolves around the new White House Director of Communications, Anthony Scaramucci. Now, Scaramucci has been very angry and railing about leaks coming out of the White House. As far as who the leakers are, Scaramucci says he thinks he knows who.
A very, very good idea of who the leakers are, who the senior leakers are in the White House.
You may have also seen Scaramucci going on Fox News, getting a little more specific.
Now, one of the big problems here that I'm discovering in the comms team is that senior people are really the guys doing the leaking, and they ask junior people to leak for them.
You had people confused as far as why Scaramucci was talking about it like this, especially with how information came out around press aide Michael Short. And the information that comes out is that Anthony Scaramucci is going to dismiss press secretary Michael Short. The press asked Michael Short about it, he denies it, said he hasn't heard a thing about it. Scaramucci then has an interview at the White House where he says, let's say I'm firing Michael Short today. The fact that you guys know about it before he does really upsets me as a human being and as a Roman Catholic. I should have the opportunity, if I have to let somebody go, to let the person go in a very humane, dignified way, and then the next thing is help that person get a job somewhere, okay? Because he probably has a family, right? So now you guys are talking about it, it's not fair. Here's the problem with leaking. How I have to figure out a way to get the leaking to stop because it hurts people. But here's the problem with that argument is there was no leak, or if there was a leak, Anthony Scaramucci himself was the leak. Reportedly, before he has this interview where he says that he's upset here, that the leaks, this is why I need to stop the leaks. Before that, reportedly, Scaramucci was talking to a reporter from Politico, and in her words, he said that he plans to dismiss Assistant Press Secretary Michael Short as part of his early war on White House leakers. And so that's why it appears that there was no leak, or the leak is just Anthony Scaramucci's mouth. And then, after all of this, Michael Short resigns. And so at this point, of course, there was obviously debate. Was this on purpose? Was it an accident? Did Scaramucci let this slip, and then he tried to say that it was leaks to cover his ass? Or because they were going to allow Michael Short to resign, they wanted to get it out there into the world that they were going after leakers. That way, Scaramucci could be public about the hunt and label Short a leaker. And then that brings us today, where Scaramucci was angry once again. Politico, on their website, they post the financial disclosure form that Mr. Scaramucci filed with the government. It showed that he had assets worth as much as $85 million. It showed he made a $5 million salary and another $4.9 million from his ownership stake. And after this came out, it looked like Scaramucci was furious, tweeting, "In light of the leak of my financial disclosure info, which is a felony, I will be contacting at FBI and at the Justice Department, #swamp at Reince45. And that seemed like a big deal because why was he tweeting at Reince45, which is Reince Priebus? He's the White House Chief of Staff. Why did he mention him in that tweet? And many outlets took that now deleted tweet as an accusation against Priebus. The Priebus was one of the high-level officials leaking info. And in response to these stories, Scaramucci tweets, "Wrong. Tweet was public notice to leakers that all senior admin officials are helping to end illegal leaks at Reince45. Also, before we go any further, it is incredibly important to once again point out that what Anthony Scaramucci is talking about here, the leak, it was not a leak. The financial disclosure forms that were posted on Politico are public information. Under federal law, anyone could have requested this report and gotten it. But back to the situation at hand. You have Scaramucci saying that he was not accusing Priebus here. So he goes on CNN, he does a phone interview, but then he says this.
These guys know who the leakers are. I respect them for not telling me because I understand and respect journalistic integrity. However, when I put out a tweet and I put Reince's name in the tweet, they're all making the assumption that it's him because journalists know who the leakers are. So if Reince wants to explain that he's not a leaker, let him do that. But let me tell you something about myself. I am a straight shooter, and I'll go right to the heart of the matter.
And so I just want to point out what has transpired here. Public information that was not leaked set off Scaramucci about leaks where he definitely didn't accuse Reince Priebus. I just decided to include his name because this was a public notice for senior administration. And then in the interview, Scaramucci coyly insinuates that maybe Priebus is the leaker, because why else would journalists who protect their sources, and he totally respects that, assume that Scaramucci was accusing Priebus because he just put out this very innocent tweet that wasn't an accusation. Maybe that's proof that there is something there. And Scaramucci also said during the interview,
the fish stinks from the head down, but I can tell you two fish that don't stink, okay? And that's me and the president.
And so this part's just my opinion, but it's that last line for me that solidifies that this seems to be less and less about leaks and more about Scaramucci getting as close to the president as possible. The president is obviously furious about leaks. There has to be obvious paranoia. And the fact that Scaramucci has taken the conversation to the point of, well, maybe there's a reason you're assuming that he's the leak, that seems pretty telling that he's trying to fuel the president's paranoia. That's where we are right now, and it'll be very telling as far as how effective this has been if we see heads rolling in the White House in the next week. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, but in the meantime, I would love to know your thoughts on this. That's actually where I'm going to end today's show. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I try and do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you missed yesterday's Philip DeFranco show, you want to catch up, click or tap right there to watch that. Or if you want to see the newest behind the scenes vlog, click or tap right there to watch that. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.